Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Harbor R. We'll be continuing where we left off, which will be on chapter... this one, Revile. And if you recall, it ends where Ollie and the polar bear girl, well, I can't believe I just forgot her name and I'm recording back to back. They were at a bus station. Ollie was having a moment, and they basically just stopped and they noticed that somebody had arrived. I'm assuming that's going to be the person that they were waiting for. I think his name is Don. And you couldn't see the face in the previous episode, but I think it's well, I'm not going to say it because you're going to spoil, but yeah. Anywho, yeah, so something weird is going on with Ollie because he's getting memories that are not his. Or well, it seems like either memories of the future or of a different timeline because he's remembering that him and Sam were waiting for V. Yeah, her name is V. And at a cafe, but like she has no memory of this. Not only that, but she's like, "Well, I would never, be friends with Sam because he's a weirdo. Well, he's like a creep." And I mean, to be fair, he kind of is a creep. He's a big flirt with everyone, and he's a little. But anyways, so yeah, and in the present with this dude, the I guess the one of the two protagonists, he met up with the iguana, whose name is Trevor, I believe, and he was trying to get information out of him, and he did get some information that the iguana's father hates Ollie, but he I guess doesn't just hate him, he's afraid of him for some weird reason. And then when Trevor started following him because he felt compelled to, the father would like get so angry and like smell something on him about it, in relation to Ollie. So there's that. Anywho, well, without further ado, let's see what's gonna happen and who this mysterious person is that showed up. Not you. Anyone but you. I stared on in horror as the face of my former lover twisted and contorted in shadow. Vague features, barely visible in darkness, stared back at me. No, they stared through me. How? How, after all of these times, after all of those repeated memories, could... Something's changed. I look back to V, who still appeared to me as normal. Or... was this normal? Has she always looked like this? I shift my gaze down to my hands. Sure enough, they're still there, still hollow, still cold, still alone. They're trembling. Something's changed and it's slipping away from me. Don's face. I can distinctly remember his face. I attempt to scan my back when we... You disgust me. I search deep for my memories of him, but each time I think they're rising to the surface, they only fade right back into the sea of my mind. He yanks his hand out of mine, leaving me aching for his touch. Hey. Don't you... me? But you... No. He crosses his heart. You... what you were... to do. Touching. I tell you. Okay. The sunset. God, I hate you. He couldn't see me. Nobody could. What are you? My face? My smile. Why aren't I smiling anymore? This can't be happening to me. Please. I stand there as a tainted cloth seeps into my skin, trying to dredge up what few memories I have left of him. My knuckles white, I grip my hoodie close to my body. These hands will decay before I ever let any of those precious few slip away from me, so I swear. My determination is interrupted by a sudden jab from the woman standing beside me. V takes a long and careful step forward. The hyena does the same in turn. His posture is awful, leaning what had been 20 degrees forward as he skulked forward, hands shoved in his pockets. The bear was his polar opposite, her long and powerful legs forming a graceful stride into the face of the adversary. While watching, however, I'm drawn from my trance as my body begins moving forward on autopilot. Right, I wasn't worried about this back then, was I? As if I were gliding across the surface of the ocean, my entire being is propelled forward against my will. And I'm terrified. No amount of steam in my engine could have pushed my cowardly heart out of its shadow, which had already engulfed my friend. The idea that something I had formerly taken so much comfort in would fill me with so much dread tore away what little sense of self-respect I could salvage. I was at the end of my rope, and yet my body kept moving forward. She had no fear, standing face to face with him. So why should I? You're being so melodramatic. God, get over yourself, Ollie. That's what she would say to me if she could see inside of my head. Maybe she's right. I'm just overthinking everything. Everything will be fine, right? Right? So, why haven't they spoken yet? They've been staring each other down for over a minute. 2 minutes. 3. I lose count and start over again. Something is wrong. Very wrong. No. I'm just panicking. But this is a valid reason to panic. Please? Please say something. This is all my fault. I've ruined our friendships. Don was my ex. Our ex. Of course he doesn't want to talk. God, I'm so fucked up. If I leave, maybe they can still fix things. My body won't let me leave, though. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this place. Please, I'm begging you. Say something, please. Ahem. I'm pulled from the endless depths of my thoughts by V, clearing her throat. Welcome home, Keegan. Don shuffles around for a second before letting out a tired sigh. Yeah, whatever. His eyes. He doesn't have eyes, but I can feel them boring into me. I thought I'd been spared his gaze, but I can still feel them burning a hole into me. I can see he's about to... I was unsure how early you would get here. My eyes close for what feels like the first time in minutes, and I clutch my chest, wheezing. It was close enough. Close enough? Had we been any later, we wouldn't have any time to get any food. I clutch my chest as my wheezing intensifies. V, taking notice, turns around to face me. His eyes returned to me as well. God, his eyes. I slow my breathing down until it's enough to melt the bulk of the concern off of the bear. Her gentle brown eyes search for some sign of life in me, not shining with the fire that they do when she looks at Dawn. I'm an object to be pitied. The hyena folds his arms, tilting his head to the side while turning my way. It's safe to assume that he's staring at me too. Oh god. Speaking of food, her voice draws me from my intrusive thoughts, thankfully preventing another spiral. I'm not sure about you guys, but I could really go for a coffee right now. She looks back over to me. You mentioned sirens earlier, right? It's been quite some time since we've been. Why don't we catch up there? The service isn't until this evening, so we have a bit of time to chat and get some food in us. I blink. You know, the cafe, I recall them having pretty decent coffee. My eyes are empty, like my head. And we really ought to. Yeah, sure. I haven't eaten in a while. I'd like to go too. My most vital organs beat within my skeletal form, pumping more slime throughout my body as I speak. It's settled then. Come on, I'll drive. The bear and the hyena turn to leave, but try as I might, I can't force my legs to obey and catch up to them. I stare at my friends as they get further and further away, leaving me behind to rot. This was always meant to be, wasn't it? After a while, the bear finally turns her head back towards me. Come on, Ollie! Dawn never looks back. Deep within his own dream suite, a stranded lullaby remained unsung. He couldn't feel anymore. His fingers, long without flesh, clutched what remained of him in this world. Can you see it? The dreadful irony of someone who's given up so thoroughly, yet clings to life in some vain attempt to retain what he lost? He can't let go. And this is his greatest failure. Thanks. I used to be a poet. Not that I was ever any good at it, mind you, but I certainly tried. So, can you see now, Detective? This right here is why I needed you. No, that sad sack stopped listening to me a long time ago. Just one layer ago. I could still reach him, maybe. But not while he's in this deep. Oh? Me? Glad you asked. I'm pretty important to this story. But, uh... Hmm... Well, it's a bit tricky to answer. Let's just say that I'm a lot of people. And all of them are Ollie. Your face says it all. So how about... Hmm... Are you familiar with the concept of parallel universes? Yeah, I know that it can be a little confusing, so let's just skip that for now. You've seen that husk out there, haven't you? V said it best back there, the thing about apathy. Shit will ruin you. Just look at what happened to him. Sorry, I can't be much more helpful than that. What connection I have to you is tenuous at best, and I don't know how much more I can handle. Besides, he's about to fall back to sleep. I don't have a lot of time to speak to you. Listen to me, detective. The only way to save him now is to keep going. I'm counting on you, okay? Much as I hate to say it, I need to go soon. I'm quite tired. I could really use a siesta. Do you miss me, Oliver? As much as I miss you? I talked to the detective. He's going to help us. He's going to bring you back home. It's not going to be that much longer, I swear. Oliver, my beloved. Please, never forget. Even when nobody else will. I still love you. Lights fade as the cold above rages my body. I've been shivering for a while, but I gave up trying to get warm a while ago. Misery. That's all I feel. No, what I'm saying is that divide between various peoples is the result of the people holding the wealth purposefully keeping the little man down. As Don's voice raises well above an acceptable indoor volume, I sink a bit further into my seat. I think you're missing the forest for the trees, honestly. V takes another sip of her coffee as Don radiates an intense enough heat on my other side that I feel it burning into the back of my head. You assume that anyone who has even a modicum of success in their lives is out to get you, when in reality most of them spend their days working hard, looking out for themselves. People who work hard are not the 1%. You're simply a fool if you think life works that way. How do we even get to talking about this? All I said was that I wasn't interested in owning a fidget toy, or whatever. Oh, you think that I don't work hard? You think every day isn't a struggle to keep food in my stomach? For fuck's sake, I could barely scrap enough money together to come here. It must be so difficult for you, not working and all. Just to my left, an audible snap fingers through the air. On another note, are you okay, Ollie? I am not. You haven't touched your blueberry acai-infused lemonade. I didn't ask for this bizarre hipster lemonade she had bought me. The dispenser said that it was infused with locally harvested super greens. I couldn't even enjoy the ice, as those precious frozen cubes had been tainted by the overly priced superfood antioxidant garbage. You know you could have more energy if you drank something with some nutrients. I rolled my eyes as she takes another sip of her coffee. Give it up. You wasted $7 on that trash. He obviously isn't going to drink. Honestly, what kind of idiot pays that much for a drink in the first place? This place is almost as bad as up north. I don't remember shit being so gouged down here. Or... He rubs his chin. I guess it's just this. The bear doesn't immediately respond, continuing her long sip of coffee. She gives a contented sigh after taking in its flavor, returning to the conversation at hand. Are you sure? Maybe your funds have simply become a little tighter lately? I could almost hear Don's eyes rolling at that. Say what you mean. At this candid invitation, V places her cup down and folds her hands. Here we go again. My autopiloted husk has meanwhile started to stir the defiled lemonade. I observe the sugar green particles swirling about like a maelstrom of damned souls, cursed to wander this doomed liquid. I'm only pointing out that it's easy to mistake a change in your own circumstances for a change in the world around you. You can't possibly tell me that this shit hasn't gotten more expensive. Even you'd have to notice all the pretentious shit that you've been leaning into and what it's done to their price tag. Faster. I personally like it. They need something to diversify themselves from the standard cafe fare. It was fine how it was. They're pushing out the normal folks and squeezing money out of the stupid trendy fucks that buy into this shit. Faster. Oh, because God forbid anyone pay an extra $2 for a drink with something in it that might actually benefit their body. Easy for someone with that extra $2 to say. Faster. Oh. The plastic straw that I've been idly pushing to the brink of its abilities has jettisoned off, landing on the floor nearby. Veronica immediately stops my reflective urge to pick it up by placing a hand on my shoulder. I can get you another. I can't tell if it's concern or disgust that I see when my glassy eyes meets hers, and I don't bother thinking about which one it could be. Jesus, what are you, like 5? The hyena grumbles, not even looking my direction. We sit alone in painful silence. My mouth twitches, endlessly repeating the first step of forming words, but nothing comes out. He doesn't notice. V returns soon enough, breaking the paper away and carefully inserting the straw into my drink for me. With all the fire of the previous discussion completely doused, the polar bear instead shifts gears. So, you ended up, where did you say? Dover. That's not nearly as far north as I thought you'd go. I don't see why the fuck you're laughing. It was originally just a pit stop for me on the way to New York. Shit happened. I found a place that worked for me. For now, anyways. She placed her cup onto its plate with a distinctive clack. You mean to say that you tricked some simp from a no-name city into being your sugar daddy? There's a barely noticeable change on his face, likely attempting to shrug off her attempt at insulting his situation. Kindly fuck off. I've been numb for a little while. Well, how about your creative pursuits then? Have you at least been keeping up with your drawings? Those cities were always quite lovely. That question seems to have floored him. I can feel his gaze settle on me for a moment before he squirms back into a comfortable sitting position. Pass. Pardon? I said pass. P-A-S-S. Ah, I remember. One of my favorite Ollies took a peek at Don's art when he left that notebook behind. He played it off well, said he never looked inside. I'll never forget those mechanical pencil strokes. Ah, alright. V's voice takes me out of my stupor I hadn't realized had come over me. So, Ollie, have you been keeping up with your poetry? I still remember that one that you wrote, the one about the happy little wolf with the disfigured skin condition? Or the one you wrote about the strange trip to McDonald's? They were cute, even if a little, lacking in content. God, can you give a single compliment without a backhanded remark? The bear remains firm, not even slightly surprised she was being cut off. I thought his writing was shit, but that doesn't mean that I go up to him and say it to his face disguised as criticism. Or, well, I suppose I said it there, but you get my point. Coming up with creative shit is hard. The rat shouldn't feel bad about not being decent at it. V scoffs. Oh, and what have you done to express yourself? Aside from property damage anyways. Oh yeah, because I'm just going to list off crimes to Little Miss Bootlicker. V nearly spits out her coffee. Excuse me? Do you actually equate following the law to sympathizing with the police? Especially the police in this town? She leans in a bit closer and quiets her voice. You should know that I'm probably near the top of the officer ward's shit list. Though I'm certainly lower than you and... I can feel her pity when she looks down at me. Yeah. Dawn merely scoffs away the awkward silence that follows. That shit is beyond fucked. If you had any self-preservation, Ollie, you'd get the hell out of this town while you still can. Otherwise, you might be contributing to that monster's paid time off. The bear briefly cringes at this statement before raising her glass back up to her lips and taking a long sip. For once in my life, I don't disagree with you. Ollie, if it were at all possible, I suggest that you get out of here as well. That man is a walking tragedy waiting to happen. Stay as far away as you can, okay? I've seen some shit. His kid, the boy, that poor fucking kid has seen worse than most people ever will. Wait, his name was... I hope that he gets out of there. Nobody deserves to live in an abusive relationship. I don't even need to look at her to feel Vee's eyes digging into Don. He either doesn't notice or likely doesn't care. Neither do I. There are enough wackos in this town to fill a slimy little clown car. But, just because you're a clown doesn't mean that you don't deserve some kind of... clown therapy? Damn, what was it earlier that you were saying about Ollie's poetry? Shut the fuck up. I never said that I was any good at words either. Yeah, go figure. A high school dropout is as bad at language as he speaks. Hey, I have you know that I haven't misspelled a single word this entire conversation. That has to be worth something. Damn. That was some pretty good bait, actually. Her lips curve into a soft, hesitant smile. I almost fell for it. Things go on like that for a little while. Don and Vee chat about innocuous things while I sit there, stewing in my own misery. It'd be easy to just chime into whatever I wanted to, right? There were plenty of times the conversation would lull, and it'd be possible to just slide in. But no, I can't relate. A black and red blob vaguely resembling an avian comes up to our table, drawing all of our attention. Hey folks, can I help you? Well, if it isn't Paul Reyes. You still work here? It's been... Oh, this jackass. Don throws his hands up behind his head, leaning back in his seat. You were in our graduating year, weren't you? Bitter punk. I should have kicked your ass when I caught you eyeing my dick. Please, like you could kick anyone's ass. That being said... She cracks her knuckle. You were definitely on my shit list. The blob gulps. The bear cuts off his droning response. I'd like a refill, please. The blob appears dumbfounded, but eventually takes her cup and walks away. Jesus Christ, isn't that guy the fucking worst? Vee nods. Yeah, I'm surprised he's still around. Voted least likable person in our high school 4 years in a row. What an achievement. You know how many whack jobs come from this area? Not just in our graduating class either. Don looks at me. I don't reciprocate. There's so much competition. Especially considering you went to that school, Mr. Keegan. Fuck you. Vee has brought a new drink and a normal conversation resumes. I'm so out of my depth at this point that I don't even feel like bothering. I don't even care enough to pay attention anymore. I did the last time, and where did that get me? That's right, this time around, Don's gone. I turn my gaze towards the man to my right, his face still obscured in the deepest darkness. How did I fuck up this bad? Have I always been like this? It's so hard to remember. So, as I was saying, the championship is going to be coming up this spring. I'm really hoping that I don't fall out of shape and get my ass handed to me early. I haven't punched anybody in the face in a while, and I'm really starting to get the itch again. Don folds his arms and nods, likely glad to have me as a buffer between him and her. Right. You always love beating the shit out of people. Come on, you know it's not like that. I don't like fighting for the sake of fighting. I enjoy it as a sport. There's nothing that fills me with more adrenaline than squaring up in the ring, touching gloves with my opponent, and then besting her in a duel. A fair fight is a rare occurrence, of course. Not a lot of folks still in the women's league, so I worry I've chased off all the good competition. Well, I can imagine. You may be the only woman I've ever known that was into that idea. Vee takes a sip of her coffee. Must be pleasant after her recent refill. Well, you certainly don't talk to many women. Hey. I mean, you're right. But I imagine way more women are interested in other sports like, basketball, tennis, softball. Hell, why not MMA? It's probably more popular than boxing. She places her cup back on the table. Nope, it's a totally different skill set. Besides, those MMA chicks are crazy. Don chuckles. Heh, you'd fit right in. Absolutely not. You're lucky I'm not like them. You hear about that woman who bit people's ears off? She kept a necklace of them. Still kinda seems like that'd be right up your alley, honestly. I can't see any of his features, but if I had to guess, he's smiling. God, I wish I could see his smile again. Long, pointed teeth, full of unfilled cavities, breath that was always intoxicatingly awful. I nearly gagged when he kissed me. Of course, I never got the chance to get used to it. I raised a finger up to my mouth, gently prodding at my cushy bottom lip. Fuck, he pushed all of my buttons. I bit down on my index finger, channeling my inner turmoil into external pain. No, I'm not. I bit down harder. Nothing. I can't feel it anymore. Can he see me staring? He can definitely see me staring. Alright, I'm gonna go out on a limb and just ask. Why the fuck are you looking at me like that? I pull my finger out of my mouth, my dead eyes staring into his shadowed visage. I don't have an answer for him. No, nothing. Yeah, I had a fucking feeling you wouldn't. He leans closer to me with some newfound confidence. Jesus fucking Christ. Are you going to say anything? What the hell is wrong with you? I open my mouth, but the only sound that escapes it is a long, rumbling gurgle. I have nothing to say. I never do. This is why it's impossible to talk to you. You go mental whenever anyone confronts you. You're spineless. Hey, lay off. The bear finally comes in to save me from his onslaught. You need to cool it. That was totally out of line. Honestly, how can you possibly expect to have a conversation with someone when you open with hostility every time? And how can anyone expect to have a conversation with him when he doesn't fucking talk? His open hands point to me as if I'm the object of a very unenthusiastic sales pitch. The tense air lingers for a moment before Vee's laser-focused gaze finally whittles him down. The hyena throws up his arms in an exasperated surrender. Fine, whatever. Guess we're literally playing quiet mouse now. You should try that more often. Might be a game you actually have a shot at winning. Don leans back slightly, seeming to have cooled off momentarily. Not my fault that you're a fucking freak at air hockey. Well, maybe not as much as a freak as that twink that beat your ass at it that one time. Who is? Vee's voice trails off as she mutters something into recalling her history of air hockey duels upon the stage of history. Oh, Wong. I can hear the faintest crackling as Vee's iron grip on her cup begins to compromise its stability. Coffee is abandoning ship all over the brim in a frantic bid to escape. Vee? The polar bear returns to her senses and mercifully releases the strangulated cup, giving a smile as if nothing happened. Oh, it's nothing. Might I suggest a change of topic? The surface-level sweetness of her tone and smile didn't fool anyone. This was as good as a command, and we'd be wise to heed it. Well, in any case, might be nice to check out that arcade before I go back. Used to like putting quarters into that tin-set cabinet before before you dropped out. She curtly finishes the statement for him, eliciting a sharp exhalation from him. I was gonna say left, but sure, Vee, thanks, he says behind gritted teeth. Was that inaccurate? It's just what I remember, unless you resumed classes back up in Dover. Fucking... No, I didn't. Donovan Keegan dropped out and never got his golden high school diploma. Is that what you wanted to hear? His voice is reaching a volume that begins to draw a few glances towards our table. Of course not. What I was hoping to hear was how you plan to pick your life back up. Believe it or not, I'm not some boogeyman waiting to cackle at all your misfortunes, and neither are most people. Plan? Yeah. Maybe when life stops fucking me over, huh? Fucking pointless. If you want to see what's really been fucking you over all this time, take a long, hard look at the mirror. The hell are you talking about? You know those things were out of my control. Please. You should know better than anyone that blaming your own poor decisions on some twisted fate being out to get you is a bunk. You can't just justify your misfortunes on a series of events outside of your control. Take some accountability. You. Grow up. I can feel the heat radiating from the hyena on my right hit a burning climax. He doesn't respond though, instead spending some time stewing in it. God, why can't I read him anymore? Ollie, I know I already asked, but are you sure that you don't want me to buy you some food? While I consider giving her my usual nonverbal response, I decide I'd rather speak for the first time since we've arrived. No, thank you. All right. She takes one last sip from her cup before standing up from her seat. There's an audible pop as she stretches her arms and back. Ollie, I'll see you in a bit, okay? I'm gonna head back to my grandma's for a little while. Gonna change my clothes and all that jazz. Sorry I couldn't spend more time with you beforehand. Bye for now. As she turns to leave, the living furnace to my right slams the table again. The fuck do you mean you're leaving? Just like that? She doesn't respond. You were our ride. You're obligated to take him home. Still nothing. So you're just leaving? His tone drops slightly before picking back up again. Oh, I see how it is. You think it's my turn to babysit the rat? Is that what this is? Instead of giving a response, she waves as she exits the establishment. Fine. I see how it is. He folds his arms as every shade in the restaurant continues to point in our direction. I think they're staring. Not that he cares. Guess I don't either. We sit like that for a little while, the atmosphere silent, oppressive, and strangling. Don't fool yourself, Ollie. You don't actually care. He finally looks in my direction after an indeterminate amount of time before suddenly getting up from his chair and walking away from the table. Without even thinking, I get up and follow his footsteps, matching his pace as best as my short legs can handle. Through the lobby. Out the door. Into the street. Out of the shopping district. Towards the ocean. I follow him without really knowing why. He never turns back, never looks at me, and just marches on. Something stirs in my empty core, my stomach long rotted away. You're not self-aware enough to know how fucked this is, are you, Oliver? My fingers, white bones stained black over these few years of agony, clutch what remains with the determination of the moon holding the sun at bay. Please don't take my memories from him, from me. He's all I have left. Please. Please. Please, whoever you are, please. I feel a tear welling up inside of my empty eye sockets. It floats upwards and away from me towards the surface, to the light I'll never see again. I am nothing. The faceless man in front of me stops, just in front of. I don't know this place. And I don't care to know it either. I've got a reservation for Keegan. The blob behind him shifts and stirs. I don't care enough to figure out what it's doing. Yeah, Donovan, that's me. I called you earlier today. Thanks. He ignores me as he walks away. Big mistake. Without me willing it to, my body follows him again, step after pathetic step. I couldn't stop, even if I wanted to. Damn it, why the fuck are you following me? He finally turns back to face me, an arm thrown up for dramatic effect. How fucking hard is it going to be to pound this into your thick skull? I don't want anything to do with you. He takes a step towards me, then another. Not now, not later, not ever. His footsteps are loud and heavy, and yet I stare on. My face is cold. Don't you fucking get it? He's close enough now that I can feel the heat radiating off of him again. He's so much warmer than me. Stop it! Just fucking stop it! He balls his right hand into a fist and raises it, as if to strike me. Don't think I won't... Just then, he falters, stumbling a step backwards. Did you see a ghost, Dawn? It takes him a second to recover, but the rebound is quick. His arms fall back to his sides, and his breathing slows. I just don't understand you. At all. He sighs. Listen. His voice cuts off as his attention leaves me. Then, without even a second passing, he grabs my wrist and yanks me away. The surrounding buildings blur together as he pulls me along, my legs doing their best to keep up with his. This is something I haven't felt in a long time. My brain rattles as I'm placed against a scratchy brick wall, the man who'd brought me here placing himself in the same position next to me. His breathing is heavy, his chest laboriously heavy and tuned with mine. Wait, am I breathing? Fuck. He curses between gasps of air, taking frequent looks around the corner of the building. There they are. I fucking knew it. He still has it out for me. The warmth of his tight grip spreads from my wrist to the rest of my body, flooding me with a deep sense of something. If there were any blood left in my body, I think I'd be blushing. I lift my limp left hand out of the hoodie's pocket for the first time since this morning. There was no hesitation when I touched those skeletal digits to his hand. They dance atop his fleshy hand, overjoyed to feel the embrace of his skin again. This is what it felt like when I... A deep, miserable shiver shakes him to his core, and his attention turns back to me. The fuck are you? His whisper cuts abruptly when he spots the ritual I'm performing on him, and he yanks his hand away from mine. Ugh. He's practically whispering, screaming now. The fuck is wrong with you? His featureless visage bores into me for what feels like an eternity before he's hit with some reverberation that makes him shiver again, and he takes a step back. God. I can't fucking win. Every little fuck-up in my life ruins everything for everyone. I should have just... Then, just as before, he loses a frustrated scream and throws his hands to his sides. He turns to face me, or he would have, if he'd still have a face to begin with. His breathing is audible and heavy, ragged even. Yes, he's very clearly tired. Tired of me. Damn it, you! As if it came naturally to him, He grips his head with both of his hands and pulls up, as if he were attempting to remove it. The grunt that follows is one of pain and misery, not unlike my own. You're just awful for each other, aren't you? I remain still, my cold, blue gaze remained apathetic to his emotional display. This is different, isn't it? I used to care, didn't I? Don't you have anything? Anything to say? I can hear his teeth gritting inside of that shaded mass. I just... Urgh! My eyelids droop as I stare back at him, tugging at his face. And you... Urgh! God, I am so fucking sick of this shit! Then, without another word, he turns away from me and begins to walk away. My mouth opens to call out to him, but no sound manages to escape. There was nothing inside to begin with. My decaying heart ached to follow that retreating warmth, but my legs did not obey. He disappears out into the blur, that last shred of him I'd had. Gone. But I've been here before. This wasn't our final encounter. No, I'll see him again soon. For the worst moment of my life. Yeah, I've got them in sight. Totally frozen in place, as expected. No, sir. The dossier I've been building was off. But I'm planning to make the necessary corrections soon. Yes, sir. The well card will likely be entering the picture soon. The necessary steps will be taken to keep the detectives safe. You can count on me. End of chapter 5. And that's where we're going to leave it for today. So, something's up with Sam. As it is with all Sams in all visual novels, there's something weird going on with them. Ooh. Something popped up. Oh, it opened up my browser. Oh, it's a feedback form. Okay, we'll do that later. So, something is going on in this town, and Sam knows what's going on. Obviously, he's not letting up, but it is obvious. Obvious in the sense that he knows a lot more of what was going on than anybody else, and he's mentioned in both the past and the present, or what appears to be the past and the present, or in both alternate realities or whatever. And it appears that as memories are being recalled of Ollie, or this alternate version or spirit or whatever it was that is contacting the protagonist here that you see on the screen. That what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Basically, something is off in this town. There's either the past and the present being connected, or multiple realities being connected, or something is going on. But Sam knows what's going on. So yeah. So he's probably not to be trusted for now. Because he knows more than he's letting on, obviously. So yeah. I'm curious to know if that black goo that we see from time to time is connected to that other Ollie that we see. If it's sort of like a remnant. And I hate to compare it to something else, but like, have any of you ever read the Five Nights at Freddy's stories, like the books, not like the games or the lore of the games, but like the actual book stories? Because in there we have a black goo that's called agony, which is emotions that come from people or possessed items or whatever that can possess other items. So you can put agony into, let's say, like the Amicus plush, from Ad Astra, and it would become alive. But usually, because agony is, as its name hints to, it's a negative emotion, so the plush would probably become an evil Amicus plush. Whereas opposed to Remnant, which is what all the animatronics in the video games are possessed with, that's a soul. So Remnant is the good thing, which is a soul, and agony is the bad thing, or the negative aspect, which is the negative emotions. So yeah. So in the books, it's a black goo, kind of black goo-like blood substance, which spreads like a virus from one thing to another. So for example, right here on my shelf, I have the Amicus plush. So let's say it gets infected with agony, it would probably infect the Pirate Foxy, the two of them that I have here, the plush and the little minifigure, then the Dreadbear minifigure, and then the Gundam minifigures, and then like all the little things that I have on this bookshelf right here. So yeah, it would probably create evil little versions of those things because it spreads out as the agony, grows. And it does present as a black goo, which comes out from the eyes, from the mouth, and from wounds that the possessed thing has. So obviously, it's probably not what's going on in this story, because obviously it's not connected to Five Nights at Freddy's, Fazbear Frights. But it reminded me of that, where something bad is happening, somebody is recalling something bad in relation to Ollie, and then all of a sudden black goo appears, and it like swallows up, the person or people. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on what's going on in the story so far? Because originally I thought that they were experiencing the past, but now it seems that they're experiencing either the past or an alternate reality. And our protagonist here wants to solve the disappearance of Ollie, but perhaps he's not solving it so much as he's being led to rectify it or keep it from happening. And Ollie himself is sort of a husk of what he used to be. And the thing behind him, which is also dripping some goo, is either a ghost or perhaps his past self, what he used to be like, because that version looked a little bit more childlike. It was a little bit more spirited, like oh yeah, we're having fun and whatever. Or he was a more not pleasant, no. He was nice when he was speaking directly to the protagonist here, whose name I keep forgetting. I'm sorry, why do I keep forgetting his name? But yeah. So perhaps it's his past trying to fix his future, so that in his very, 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 very future self, he isn't missing or dead or something. But yeah. And again, Sam, he knows what's going on. Maybe he's also trying to fix it, I guess. But he's working with someone else trying to fix it. Anyways, so yeah, write down in the comments what you think, and hopefully you're giving this series a chance, because I like it. It's weird. I don't know what's going on, and that I like that type of stuff. So yeah. So anyways, thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Beyond the Harbor R yourself, or the previous version, which is again right here with the little moon and the rat, right there on the bottom, yourself, you can find it over on Itch, and I will post a link down for the creator's Twitter page, which should have a link down for that. And obviously, as you can see, they do have a Patreon, because you can see the little P right there. And I will post a link down for that, and I'm assuming that you, if you subscribe, you will get early access to builds of Beyond the Harbor R yourself, and you'll help to support the project, which is always a good thing for for visual novels, because visual novels are not cheap, as Jericho said from Remember the Flowers. It does cost a lot of money, time, and effort. So by supporting these projects for any of all the visual novels that you happen to like, it doesn't have to be this one. It could be Remember the Flowers. It could be Far Beyond the World. It could be any of the Echo projects like Ad Astra and Terra, whatever it is. Any project, just support them. Tell them, you know what? I like your stuff, even if it's just like a one-time, thing like a coffee, or you do that thing where you purchase it / donate in Itch.io. It helps because it tells them, like, oh, people actually like actually like the work that we're doing, and yay, money. But yeah, anyways, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.